Welcome in to the Punt and Pass podcast. I'm your host, Drew Butler, joined alongside my co-host, Jake Fromm. Be sure to follow us on social media at Punt and Pass on X and Instagram. I'm at Drew Butler. He's at Fromm Jake. PuntandPass.com, the #1 destination for all things college football. Week 11 is here. The first college football playoff rankings have been released earlier this week. We got some cool stuff to touch on in 3 and out and a couple of top-tier, top 25 matchups in the SEC that we will dive into when we go inside the 5. Jake Fromm, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Another week. Excited about college football this weekend, and the Lions play on Sunday Night Football.
That's right, dude.
This weekend, so stay tuned. And, yeah, man, pumped about it. Can't wait to get into it.
And the Lions also got Zadarius Smith, a big
That's right.
trade right before the deadline to kind of fill the gap where Aiden Hutchinson left off after his season-ending injury. So the Lions pushing the chips into the middle of the table. They're going all in, and why wouldn't they when they're playing as well as you guys are? So it's got to be fun. How are the vibes in the locker room?
Hey, man, winning is fun. Winning solves a lot of problems. Vibes are great. Not that we have very many problems at all, man. They've done a great job of getting the right guys here. Man, it's such a great locker room. Like, there's no just cancers, no guys, no me guys. I mean, really, it's just a really good group, really good core group they got here. And, man, honestly, blessed and happy to be part of it.
That's awesome. Speaking of like core guys, great leadership, vibes are immaculate. Coming up in second down when we go 3 and out, something's kind of going viral on social media at the time that we're recording this. We'll dive into it. It's really cool. Jake should have some really personable feedback as to what that is. But most importantly, you said winning is fun and winning cures everything.
That's right.
That's exactly right. And it's the same when you get on over to Prize Picks, okay? When you win on Prize Picks, everything becomes better. This episode of Prize Picks, this episode of Punt and Pass, presented to you by our awesome partners over at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT, P-U-N-T, PUNT, and you can get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 entry. Win or lose, $5 entry, your first one, you instantly get $50 when you enter the promo code PUNT when you sign up for Prize Picks. Tell a family member, tell a friend, download the app or go to prizepicks.com, use the promo code PUNT. Again, an instant $50 when you play your first $5 entry, win or lose. Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it's by far the most popular as well. Why? Because it's so easy. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can win up to 100 times your entry. Winning solves everything. There's no doubt about it. It's the same on Prize Picks. Make week 11 of the college football season a great one. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. $50 instantly when you play your first $5 entry. All right, let's go 3 and out. First down, obviously, the first rendition of the college football playoff rankings have been released. And obviously, it's gone to 12 teams now, Jake. 12 teams are getting in the playoff. No more just top 4. So, of course, there was a big show on Tuesday night. ESPN produced it. They released the rankings. Spencer, why don't you go ahead and throw up this beautiful graphic for us? Thank you, my friend. Keep in mind, the top 4 teams that are the Power 4 conference champions get a bye. So as you see here, if you're on YouTube, rate, review, and subscribe on YouTube. BYU is ranked 9th in the college football playoff poll. However, they get the 4 seed because they're projected to be the Big 12 champion. The rankings are so. Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, so they jumped ahead of Georgia after their big win against Penn State on the road. Georgia 3, Miami 4, Texas 5. So, Jake, initial reactions, what do you see? Where do you first look? Are you still looking at the top 4? Are you looking at who's getting the bye? Do you see Boise State there at 12 as the group of 5 team? Talk to me.
No, my mind goes right to who's getting that first round bye and why winning your conference is still so important. Man, getting a week off and getting a break and getting that first round bye, so to speak, is so important in the sport of football. Gives you an extra week to get your body feeling right, gives the coaches an extra week to prepare. And then, man, you can already advance scout and be ready to play your opponent. As you're watching them the next day, you're getting ahead in so many different facets. Man, that first round bye is huge. And a team like BYU goes from 9th, ranking wise, to the 4 seed, which is incredible. As far as the teams that are listed here in it, honestly, I mean, it's just kind of like, I guess, what we expected. They really didn't do anything other than the AP poll, which has already, been out. And they said, you know what, this looks pretty good, but let's flip Georgia and Ohio State just to give people something to talk about. So that was kind of my opinion and my take on it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You bring up a great point, because I'm kind of on the fence about, like, would you rather have the home game in the first round? Could the conference championship potentially be more penal than it is advantageous? Meaning, hey, if you're on the bubble and you lose that game, then you're out. But if you don't play and then there's some carnage on conference championship weekend, you might find your way into the college football playoff. Set aside the bye week. Look, if you don't play in the conference championship game and you still make the playoff, you get that bye week right before the first round. However, when you look at where BYU, Oregon, Miami, and Georgia are sitting, with that bye week being in the first round, you bring up a great point with scouting. You're going to be able to watch a game, lock in, understand whoever wins that game. In this scenario here, Notre Dame at Penn State, winner of that game takes on Georgia. But the bigger thing is you just have to play one less game in the college football playoff. I mean, the 5-12 matchup, Boise State at Ohio State, that would be very interesting. How about Indiana at Tennessee, dude, in Rocky Top, December 20th or 21st?
That'd be sick.
That would be sick. Alabama at Texas. I mean, talk about 2 blue bloods in the first round of the college football playoff. I skimmed over Notre Dame, Penn State. That would be unbelievable from a geographic standpoint. Yep. So there's really good things here. When you look at the first overall projected bracket, of course, it's going to change drastically over the last 4 weeks of the season. But seeing this, it makes me understand that bye week, winning your conference, is so important, because then it's just 3 games to change your life, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing as I'll go back to when we got a bye week in the NFL playoffs. I was with the Cardinals in 2015. We were the 2nd seed in the NFC. Jake, that's when top 2 seeds got bye weeks. Like, we had that bye week, and then we come back, and Bruce Arians, our head coach, he looked at us and said, 3 games to change your life. 3 games. That's it. You got your divisional round, your conference championship, your Super Bowl. You win all 3, your life's changed. We went to the NFC championship and we lost. So our lives didn't change that drastically. But I get it now. I see it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of talking out loud here, I guess the bye week, happens organically anyway. If you don't go to a conference championship, I guess that ends up being a bye week. If you go and you win your conference championship, I guess the risk there is if you go to the conference championship, you lose that, but still make the college football playoff.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off, because that could be the most penal thing. Like, take Georgia, for example. Okay, if Georgia wins out and they're 1, 2, or 3, and then they play, I guess, let's just say Texas A&M. Okay, and Texas A&M is kind of on the bubble, so they're 10, 11, 12. Texas A&M beats Georgia in the SEC championship. Well, you would assume Georgia does not get knocked out of the top 12. Texas then gets the bye because they're the SEC champion. So now Georgia, you're playing a 20-game season almost, Jake. Like, that is where the penalty really kicks in if you play in your conference championship and still make it to the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, that is a very foreseeable possible outcome there. I still don't think you're not going to have any coach out there, go say to his guys, "Hey guys, I think we're good, we're locked in. Let's lay down this game. Let's settle in, around that 6, 7, 8 ranking mark. We can miss the conference championship. It's no big deal. Nobody cares about that anymore. Hey, let's get into the dance and let's get going." I don't see, that's not realistic. No coach is saying that. If it happens that way organically, hey, sure, great, maybe. But I think all coaches want an opportunity to play and win, and players included want an opportunity to play and win. Especially, I want to talk about an SEC championship, which is so dang hard to do and accomplish. And to me, that's just a very impressive feat that nobody wants to miss out on.
No, look, I totally agree. I mean, the SEC championship is so special in and of itself. You, of course, won an SEC championship. You played in 3, right? You played against Joe Burrow. You played against Jalen and Tua, and you played against Jalen and Tua, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that correct?
Jalen Tua, and then the one was a rematch against Auburn in 2017. Yep.
Yeah, it's just tough, man. Like, you get to that game, all chips are off the table, and it becomes a battle. And there's a lot of pride in winning an SEC championship, and I'm not discounting the Big Ten, the ACC, or the Big 12, but there's a premium on winning that conference. It is absolutely different. So you are 100% correct on that. All right, you can take that graphic down, Spencer, and we'll move on to second down. Good stuff. You know, we're going to continue to talk about the college football playoff rankings. We'll probably do that segment in 3 and out for the next 4 weeks, breaking it down, taking a look at it, first couple out, how the conference championship benefits certain teams. I mean, BYU, you're the 9th team and you're getting a bye. That's huge if they win the Big 12. Second down. This is awesome. It's kind of going viral at the moment on social media. We're recording this on a Wednesday evening. A guy you know very well, a guy you played for, a guy who you are a fan of. I would assume you talked about him a lot on the podcast. Dan Lanning, the head coach at Oregon. They're doing some pretty special stuff right now out west in the Pacific Northwest. They're the #1 ranked team in the country. They, of course, are in the Big Ten this season. They beat Ohio State, and they just went to Michigan this past week as the defending national champion and took care of business yet again. Dylan Gabriel looks great. These guys are playing super hard for their head coach. Their social media team followed the head coach, Dan Lanning, around throughout the week, kind of got his messages that he was providing to the team on camera, and then it played out on the field Saturday. We're going to play this. You'll hear it if you're listening in the car or on your headphones. You'll see it if you're on YouTube. This is a super cool video. Go ahead and fire it up, Spencer.
And that's Oregon football.
He's ready to bring everybody up on me. I'm going to call a timeout and we're going to remind them.
I told you about this moment on Monday.
When you're on the road, one of the best feelings, and the guys who played, you know, is to silence the crowd. Damn right we have the bullseye. And by the way, your fans are leaving at the 3-minute mark. Every once in a while, remember those timeouts? Where you just say, timeout, what do you want, coach? I said, I just want you to look in the stands. They're leaving. And a big smile gets across, because those will be some of the moments that you're going to enjoy the most. You enjoy the most. But preparation is a key.
What's the key? Preparation. So I want you guys to know, in this game, I'm going to come up to you at some point.
So that was a really cool moment. A Monday team meeting. He's playing a clip from Coach Mike Krzyzewski, obviously very famous former Duke head basketball coach, USA basketball as well. And Coach K saying some of the best moments I've ever had with my teams is when I'd call a timeout when we really didn't need to, but I'd bring my guys up and I'd say, look in the stands. Look what you guys just did. Your preparation paid off. You're making the home crowd get up and leave because we took care of business. And how that video starts is Dan Lanning is on his headset at Michigan telling his coaching staff, I'm calling a timeout. They don't need to call a timeout. They're up way big. The game's out of hand. I'm bringing the guys up, and I'm going to remind them, I told you we would do this. Kind of get chills watching it. Super cool. Very awesome for the coach to kind of have that moment come to fruition and then keep his word to prove to his team that he's going to be a man and essentially stand on his own 2 feet and say, you guys did your job. I'm letting you enjoy it. So I don't know. I wanted your reaction, Jake, you seeing that, Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart, some of the memories that you have, because you guys were there during the rise of Georgia football, and there were certainly a lot of moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is just so freaking cool. Cool moment for Dan Lanning as a head coach.
Yeah,
to be able to share that message with his team from a winner like Coach K. Kind of get that little tidbit. Maybe the players kind of missed that part. and then at the end of the game have that opportunity to go do that. There's nothing, just cooler and more BA than on the headset. Be like, you know what, guys, I don't have to call this timeout, but I am. Let's bring the guys over, timeout. And then, hey, remember what I said? Oh yeah, here is it. And then the other video, the full video, kind of goes into this gladiator theme and this messaging that they have going on throughout the team, which is awesome. That is a play out of Kirby's playbook that I think Lanning's really kind of growing on, this theme that they have throughout the season and getting and bringing the guys together, which is awesome. And all the guys are talking about it, thumbs down. Are you not entertained? The whole thing is so cool, man. They got a really cool thing going on over there at Auburn, man. It's fun to see. The guys, you can tell, are having fun. And I don't know who's having more fun than Dan Lanning himself.
Yeah, winning is fun. That's how you kicked off this episode. Winning cures everything. Winning is the best. Winning football, when you're on those types of runs, like it just galvanizes the locker room so much. The coaches are enjoying themselves. There's a little bit, you got a little bit of a bounce in your step when you're in the facility. Guys want to get to work. Guys want to work hard. And when you're losing a lot, there's nothing worse. Everybody's walking on eggshells. Everybody's looking over their shoulders. Everybody's kind of slumped and not excited to get to work. Like that's when you have to dig it out of the dirt and go figure out how you can get back on the winning streaks. But when it's sweet, man, dude, there's nothing better. And I know you guys experienced that. We had a nice little run like that when I was at Georgia. Of course, we were on some fun teams in the NFL as well. You guys are experiencing it right now in the NFL. How does that kind of compare to Dan Lanning? I mean, everybody sees Dan Lanning, one of the most likable coaches in the NFL right now. Is he always that kind of infectious with his energy, or is he more kind of by the book throughout the week, and then during the weekend he lets it loose a little bit?
You asking about Dan Lanning or Dan Campbell? Sorry,
Campbell.
Yeah, no, man, he's just got it, man. He's got a presence to him. And what he does so well is he's not going to waste your time, with team meetings. If something needs to be said, he's going to say it.
Yeah.
But last week everything that needed to be said was said. And he's like, hey, I've said my piece. You guys got it. You take it. So he gives opportunities for leaders to step up, take ownership. And man, he keeps it real. He knows it's got a great pulse on the team. Yeah. But man, he can fire you up when you need to be fired up, and he can, lock you in when you need to be locked in. So he does a fantastic job.
No question. It's obviously paying off very well. You guys are kicking some serious ass right now. It's a lot of fun to watch. Oregon's remaining games: Maryland at Wisconsin, bye week, home versus Washington. So looks like they're probably going to be undefeated, and then they'll make their way to Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship game. And we'll, of course, keep tabs on who they play. Might be a rematch with Ohio State, which would be pretty cool. So good stuff from Dan Lanning there. Master motivator, no question about it. One of my favorite guys, a little tangent. Rest in peace, Trevor Moawad. I know you got to know him very well. It Takes What It Takes. Phenomenal book. Really incredible book. I have it right here on my desk. I read it. I hold it near and dear to my heart. It's crazy. I don't know if you've ever heard this storyline. Trevor lost his life. I don't know how old he was, maybe a little bit over 40.
Yeah, not
He
much
was
more
sick.
than that.
He didn't really make it very public, but he was business partners with Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson was a huge believer in what Trevor Moawad did. And when Russell was traded to the Broncos, that was the first year he played without Trevor Moawad by his side because Trevor had passed. And Russell had his worst year ever, career worst ever. And people close to him say it really affected him. And I truly believe it. I mean, I 100% believe that the timing of that and really kind of the unexpected nature of it combined with how he performed that year. I mean, it affected him. It just goes to show you how important guys like that, Trevor, are to a guy like Kirby, and he was developing the culture at Georgia. You, of course, can speak to that. A guy like Dan Lanning, who was there with Trevor Moawad and Kirby, who can take those kind of things and implement them at Oregon. So I don't know, just kind of giving him a shout out in that moment because I'm a big believer in the stuff that he's done and written.
Yeah, there's a huge correlation there for sure. When it comes to building teams and building culture, it is just so important to lay that foundation and get the right guys in there and have the right guys come and speak to your team. And there's such a just an intimate time with coaches, with your team, especially with the head coaches, just trying to get it right.
Yeah.
We're doing the right things, saying the right things, holding the right guys accountable. Man, it is such a pivotal part in building your program. And it makes the good better. And if you miss and you slip on some things, you can see it very, very quickly.
No, you're totally right. That's awesome stuff. I'm kind of a nerd, a geek when it comes to that motivational sports psychologist stuff. So always fun to see. And Dan Lanning, he's got it figured out at Oregon. Okay, let's go to third down. These clips came up on social media from a couple of Kirby's press conferences after practice this week. And I just had to laugh. I mean, I'm like, this guy, think about where Georgia's at in the season right now. It's November 7th when you're listening to this on a Thursday. So November 10th, I believe, is Saturday, if I've got that right. This season's late, man. They've had 2 bye weeks. We just talked about it. If they go to the SEC championship and don't win and still make the playoff, like, it is total grind mode. And Georgia also has a 2-week stretch on the road at Ole Miss, home at night versus Tennessee, to where they've got to lock in. Chip Towers, my man Chip over at the AJC. I guess for some reason he was like, let me ask Kirby about his visor routine. How do you pick your visor? Kirby's visor, very popular. I dressed up as like quasi Kirby Smart for Halloween. I wore a visor as well. Let's see if Kirby's having fun with the media at this juncture of the season. Is it lighthearted, Spencer? Let me know.
Coach, I hope you can, kind of have fun with this because it is such a big week football-wise. But a fan was asking about, and I thought it was a good question. You're a visor guy, and you're pretty rough on your visors, especially during the games. I'm sure you are in practice too. So just a general question, like how many of those do you go through? Obviously, your white one matches very well with your white sleeves and black today. You pick them out. Kind of what's the process, if you could just shed a little light on that?
No process. It's whatever they give me. So for the game, they put one down there and I wear it, and then I take it off after the game. The next game, there's another one there. There's 2 or 3 sitting in my office, and I just get one before I go to practice. I don't waste a lot of energy on things like that, Chip. Sorry.
I mean, credit to Chip Towers for asking the question. Like, it's a lighthearted question. Kirby, not in the lighthearted mood. I mean, we make eye contact. He's like, are we seriously talking about this? It's like he's like almost a perfect concoction of how Bill Belichick spoke to the media, but the same as Nick Saban, because Saban would at least give the media something. Like, he would talk to them, whether it was a little bit demeaning at times or whether he seemed a little bit annoyed at times. At least he would talk. Belichick is just an asshole. Like, he was just an ass to the media. Very short answers. Never gave him anything. So, again, that question in and of itself, funny, lighthearted. Kirby not having it. And you can tell if you saw that video, credit to UGAsports.com.
Yeah, 2 things that just jumped out at me right away. It was one, Chip having to say at the beginning of his question, hey, Kirby, I hope you can have fun with this. If you have to start off with saying, hey, I hope you can have fun with this, he's probably like, he's turned off. He's like, no. Being up here for me right now is not fun. This is not what I want to do. I don't want to do that. And then 2, Chip's, kind of asking, basically insinuating that Kirby does a good job of matching his visors to his outfit, which I think just insulted the heck out of Kirby. Like, he's
like, dude, no.
You think I match my visor to my outfit? Dude, come on. And so I just can only imagine what's going through his head right now.
He wanted to make it very clear, Kirby Smart, that he does not waste 1 second thinking about that rather than focusing on the task at hand. Which is playing football games. And to kind of piggyback on Kirby's mood in that same press conference, he was asked about the depth of his football team, because obviously depth heading into these last 4 weeks and then a long run towards a national championship is going to be really something that separates the good from the great when they're fighting for a national championship. Here's what Kirby Smart had to say when asked about the depth on his football team.
How do you guys feel about the depth at your wide receiver position at this point in the season?
I've told you 100,000 times. Y'all can ask me that question every day. We don't have enough depth at any position. I don't know one coach that'll tell you, I got the greatest depth in the world. We're great there. Like, I don't feel good about our depth. I don't feel great about our depth at snapper. I don't feel great about our depth at holder. I don't feel great about our depth at field goal protection. I don't feel good about our depth at wide receiver or anything, because I don't ever think you have enough to practice the way you need to practice.
It's incredible. I mean, zero patience. And he's very transparent. Hey, I don't feel good about our depth anywhere. I'm a little bit hurt that he went straight to specialists. Don't like the situation at snapper. Don't like the situation at holder. Don't like our depth at field goal protection. Ricochet shots for the specialists in the room in that regard. But he's pretty damn Zoom focused right now. And if that's any inkling as to how the team's mentality is as they're about to hit the road and head to Ole Miss, you might like that attitude when you're talking about a big matchup coming up this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, kind of half of it is kind of coach speak where, we're never going to be good enough. We're never going to have enough guys in the building. And then, the other half is, I mean, kind of honestly the truth at the same time, because of the changing college football landscape and NIL and not being able to recruit good quality young backups to grow and develop into your program. They're saying, hey, why would I ride the pine here and sit and develop, but I can go develop and go play somewhere else and quote unquote make a bag. So they're not doing that anymore. And at these higher end programs, they are hurting for depth. And on the flip side of this, if I'm a player and I'm in that position, man, I'm teed off because head coach says, hey, there's not enough depth. Like, what do you mean? Pick me. And so, man, if I'm a player there, it kind of tees me off, and I'm going to go wreak havoc at practice the next day.
Yeah, a little motivating factor there,
Absolutely.
especially at the wide receiver group. If there's a backup holder, maybe you have an opportunity to unseat Carson Beck, but I don't think that's exactly what Kirby was talking about in that instance. I take more away of it. Those two clips, which are funny, and again, thanks to UGAsports.com for them. Kirby's pissed, man, and he's on a mission. Like, he does not like the outside noise right now. Yep. He does not appreciate the distractions. He understands what's ahead of him, and really, it's these next 2 weeks, Jake. Final 2 SEC games. If they want a chance to win a conference championship, which of course he does, heavily incentivized to do so on many fronts, they need to lock in. And if the team is picking up on his attitude, maybe they lock in a big way. So I just had to play those clips. I laugh. Haven't been around coaches all of our lives. It's just like so classic. Just get the hell out of the way. If you see Kirby in the facility, maybe duck into a hallway before he passes you, or just give a little head nod. Keep motor on your way. Do not get in the way. That's just a word to the wise. Okay?
That's right. He's definitely on one.
On one, as they would say. All right, this episode of Punt and Pass presented to you by our awesome partners over at Prize Picks. I got something special for you. If you download the Prize Picks app and use the promo code PUNT, you play a $5 entry. Your first $5 entry, win or lose, gets you $50 instantly. Do this for me. Take $5 after you download the Prize Picks app and use the promo code PUNT and punch in this Punt and Pass Prize Picks entry for week 11. There's a huge game on Saturday night in Baton Rouge. We'll talk about it here in just a couple of minutes. It's the 11th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide against the 15th ranked LSU Tigers. Jalen Milroe, more than a half a rushing or receiving touchdown. This has been pretty reliable of late. He's going to have to be moving around with his legs. He really hasn't gotten it going the past couple of weeks. Alabama's lost 2 straight on the road. Milroe needs to have a huge game. He'll find the pay dirt with his legs. Jalen Milroe, more than a half a rushing or receiving touchdown. The other quarterback, Garrett Nussmeier, he's going to have a big game. Alabama's secondary, a little bit suspect. Yes, LSU's coming off a bye as well. I think Nussmeier has the weapons at the skill positions to throw it downfield. Garrett Nussmeier, a couple weeks ago, he was a dark horse Heisman bet. More than 1.5 passing touchdowns. He'll get 2 passing touchdowns for sure. And then one of his deep threats, Kyron Lacey. This kid's a total stud. More than 71.5 receiving yards, Kyron Lacey. So it's a 3-pick. $50 gets you $150. That's what I went with. It's the Punt and Pass Prize Picks Week 11 entry of the week. And to recap, we're going Saturday night, Alabama, LSU. Jalen Milroe, more than a half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Garrett Nussmeier, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. Kyron Lacey, LSU wide receiver, more than 71.5 receiving yards. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code PUNT. First $5 entry gets you $50 instantly. All right, let's go inside the 5 here. The Florida Gators heading to Austin to take on the 5th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Florida's had a brutal schedule. It does not get any easier. This game's at noon on ABC. Texas, a prohibitive 21.5-point favorite. The total 47.5. I think DJ Lagway's still out. Is he out for the season? So Florida, slim pickings, a valiant effort against Georgia. This one's going to be pretty tough for him, Jake.
Dude, I don't think he's out for the season. And I think there's a possibility that this guy could play.
Really?
When I was watching the game, all I thought his injury was a cramp.
Really? You didn't think he ripped off the bone or anything? No tendon tear in the hamstring?
No, he wasn't moving fast enough to do anything. And he comes, he goes in.
He is not yet ruled out versus Texas. You're correct.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't know. To me, there could be, a whole situation there. There could not be. I have no idea. I'm just saying, when I saw it with my eyes, I didn't think anything was bad. Obviously, Spencer's saying he practiced on Wednesday.
Okay,
so
he practiced on Wednesday.
To me, he's playing in.
You can't go in there with Aiden Warner, preferred walk-on freshman. I mean, God bless the kid. He got thrown to the absolute wolves against Georgia. That's a tall task. You're talking about handing the ball off 45 times if that kid starts the game.
Okay, I don't know. But to me, also, you can't get carted off the field and then play the next week.
Yeah, the optics of that are not good, Jake Fromm.
Right?
Not good.
I don't know. Well, let's just kind of keep this on the burner. We can talk about it, not talk about it. I don't know, but
okay.
I don't know. I is something there? I don't know. I don't want to get into it.
He got carded.
You're right.
Carded off. Yeah. Left hamstring injury, less significant than initially feared. Yeah, you thought they were going to have to amputate his leg the way he went down.
You know what that means? I am 100% speculating here, okay? But this is just my speculation. Okay, he got carted off. He thought he tore his hamstring. They got an MRI, and the MRI said,
"You're okay.
Maybe grade 1, but you're okay." And now he's out there.
Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and then a full tear. But yes, yeah. I mean, look, you're right. Maybe he felt something. And he was like, I can't walk. And then they carted him off. And then they do the MRI quickly. And they're like, you're okay, coach. You want to go back in? It's like, no, I can't do it. Yeah. It would have been like a Paul Pierce situation when he went off in the wheelchair and then came back in the game.
Right. I don't know. But I don't want to speculate. I mean, that's kind of getting into a lot of things.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. It's different. But if he plays, maybe they have a chance, man. But if he doesn't play, there's no chance. I think Texas is going to get this ball rolling again and establish some dominance here. I think emotionally, Florida thought they lost a close one last week that they really thought they had a chance to win. And man, I think they go into Austin and just sadly lay a big fat egg.
Yeah, Texas coming off a bye week as well. They've only played Florida 3 times all time. Last meeting was in 1940. So this should be a pretty cool little matchup between two very historic football programs. But you're right. It's a great get-right spot for Texas. Their final stretch of this season, relatively friendly as well. They're at Arkansas next week, home versus Kentucky, and then the finale at Texas A&M, which is setting up to be a pretty special one. I think it's a good get-right spot for the Longhorns coming off that bye. They're at home. It's an early kickoff, 11 a.m. local time. Florida's defense spunky, but they had a lot of injuries last week.
Yeah.
Depending on Lagway, it's a big number, but I would lay it too. I think Texas takes care of business in a big way. How about Florida's last stretch here? Okay, obviously they were at Tennessee. They lost that game. Tennessee was ranked 8th. They played Georgia, who was ranked 2. They're at Texas, who's ranked 5. They home versus LSU next week, 15.
Jeez.
Then they're home versus Ole Miss, 16.
Oh.
And then they got to go on the road and finish things up with Florida State. So interesting. Okay, next game. I threw this one on there on the flats. Reason being, Miami is the 4th-ranked team in the country. Cam Ward, the leader in the Heisman race right now. They're at Georgia Tech, noon kick on ESPN. Miami only an 11-point favorite. The total is 63.5. Cam Ward absolutely on fire right now. Keep in mind, this game last year was the one where Mario Cristobal completely ruined the end-of-game scenario. Tech totally stole one from them. Haynes King, status up in the air. He's got to play. I mean, he is the lifeblood of Georgia Tech's offense for Buster Faulkner and how they want to run things. If Haynes King plays, spunky little, I just watch, keep your eyes on this game if Haynes King plays. If not, Miami has things going in a big way.
Yeah, the things I like going for Georgia Tech, coming off a bye week, playing at noon, possibly Haynes King coming back to play. The things I don't like for Tech is that they beat Miami last year, and Miami feels like they owe Tech one here.
That's real.
So, yeah, like that always comes up during the week. If you lost to somebody the year prior, like, hey, man, like we owe these guys one. We're everybody's gonna have their ears pinned back, and it's, hey, we got to get back and get even this week. So that's exactly what's going on at Miami. If they didn't need any motivation, then the college football playoff and everything else that's going, trust me, they want to go up there and take care of business. So I'm going to take Miami in this one because I feel like they want to embarrass Georgia Tech this week because of that.
So he's been listed as a game time decision. Haynes King has. I would assume he goes. I mean, you got to go, right? It's the 4th-ranked team in the country. It's at Georgia Tech. Like, this is your opportunity and a huge opportunity for head coach Brent Key to really get that hallmark victory during his tenure. We thought it was the opening weekend against Florida State. Florida State, not that good. But this one is always really interesting when it comes to Miami and Georgia Tech. So 11 points. What are you thinking? You thinking Miami lays it and they
I
take
think
their business there?
Yeah, I think they do. I think Miami lays it. I think Cam Ward has a day. Although, man,
I'm taking the 11 points. I want the 11 points. Tech plays up to their opponents. If Haynes King goes, give me the 11. Simple as that.
Hey, ACC defensive rankings. Georgia Tech is top 5 in points allowed and yards allowed. So Tech's got a good defense going. The only problem is Miami is like number 1 in total offense in the country. So
Yikes.
Kind of tuning in that matchup.
Tech has won 3 of the last 5. They've covered 5 of the last 6 in this meeting. And as a reminder, Tech won last year after Miami did not kneel the ball on the final possession. They then fumbled the ball. Tech got the ball back with 1 second left, threw a 44-yard pass, and won 23-20. So you want to talk about revenge? Definitely some revenge coming. But I'll take Tech plus the 11. All right, let's go to Oxford. Huge game. Number 3 in the college football playoff rankings, the Georgia Bulldogs at number 16, Ole Miss, 3:30 p.m. on ABC. Georgia, a short 2.5-point favorite. The total here, 54.5 points.
Yeah, I mentioned Miami being the number 1 total offense in the country. Well, Ole Miss is at number 2. So,
wow.
Man, it's going to be a great matchup watching Ole Miss offense versus the Georgia defense go at it. The defense got some swagger back last week playing Florida. DBs played well, got after the quarterback, stopped the run game, got some turnovers, got some sacks. I mean, man, it was
a get-right game.
Right, man. It was fun to watch those guys go after it and get them playing with a lot of confidence, especially going to play Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, this offense, Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is throwing darts right now. I think this is going to be a great matchup. It's going to be a great game. To me, this all boils down to how does Carson Beck play and does he turn the ball over? I think I hate
remind me. Don't I know.
Remind me. I know. I hate to get on the bandwagon, but that is 100% the truth of the matter. Is does Carson turn the ball over?
Obviously, like
if he doesn't turn the ball over, they can win by 2 touchdowns.
Of course.
If he turns the ball over one time, it's a touchdown less, and then turns the ball over twice. Well, now we're in a game in the fourth quarter. So, this game to me could be a roller coaster game of up and down emotions, just because the ability of Ole Miss to score.
Yeah,
quickly.
Hell yeah. Oh my! And if you turn the ball over and give them short fields, forget about it, dude. Forget about it.
Well, and then take, for example, what happened last week. They turned the ball over. DJ Lagway throws, a deep cross into the back of the end zone, 40-yard touchdown for Florida. Well, I mean, that very well could happen not once, but multiple times in this Ole Miss game.
Absolutely.
So
Lane Kiffin smells blood in the water. He's taking advantage of it. He is going for it. No question about it. I'm going to put my stat hat on. I got a lot here. I can't believe Ole Miss is 1-11 all time against Georgia. Straight up, that just surprised me. 4-8 against the spread. Of course, last year Georgia won 52-17 in Athens. The last time this game was in Oxford, Kirby Smart's first season, Ole Miss blasted Georgia.
Was that the one time?
14. Yes. Ole Miss has lost their last 11 games versus top 5 teams. They're 4-7 against the spread. Here's a good one. Kirby Smart is 30-3 straight up as a road favorite. He's 10-4 against the spread on the road when the spread is 4 points or less either way. So that means when it's supposed to be tight and they're on the road, Kirby covers one way or another. 10-4 against the spread on the road when the line is 4 points either way. It all comes down to Carson Beck. Is the guy going to stop throwing interceptions? Is the guy going to stop throwing interceptions? 11 picks in the last 5 games, an alarming trend. This is a knockout game for Ole Miss. If they lose this game, they're out of the college football playoff. It'll be their 3rd loss. They will have tons of urgency. This is such a hard prediction because the biggest unknown is who is going to take care of the football. Ole Miss's offense has shown some vulnerabilities in weeks past. Georgia's defense is very good. Historically, Kirby has had Lane's number. I'm going to lay the short number. I think Georgia takes care of business on the road. I'll lay the 2.5 points.
I think so as well. But in a weird way, man, I think you never know. Like, this could be a huge signature win for Lane Kiffin because Lord knows he needs it.
What do you do as a quarterback when you're like, shit, I cannot throw a pick? At least don't throw one in the first damn quarter. I mean, what are you thinking? Like, for me as a kicker, like the worst thought process ever would be don't shank it.
Yeah,
it's like the worst thought process ever.
We kind of get it. We talked earlier about Trevor Moawad and the mindset, stuff. And I mean, that's like the worst thing you could say to yourself in your head.
The negative self-talk
is don't do this. Yes. So to me, it's don't turn the ball over, but take care of the ball. Hey, be confident in my throws, see it, all the different stuff, but you got to let it rip, man.
Yeah, dude, you got to commit. I agree. All right. So we're both on the same side there. Obviously very contingent on how 15 takes care of the football. We'll wait and see. A big spot for him. We'll go rapid speed here. Quick one here. Just interesting. Michigan at number 8, Indiana, 3:30 on CBS. Indiana, a 14-point favorite, Jake. The total's 49.5. Indiana undefeated. They have not won a game by less than 14 points this season. They are smoking people. They are covering games at a high rate. And as my man Danny Cannell said, you put Ohio State or Michigan or Penn State next to their resume, this is a top 3 team in the nation. I'll lay those 14 points because Lord knows Michigan can't score. So give me Indiana.
Dude, I will do that as well. I know I'm slightly late here to the Indiana hype train, but finally did some diving, looking at some stats. Today's been a big stat day for me. We know about Indiana's offense putting up numbers. They're top 10 offense in the country. Dude, their defense is balling out too. They are a top 3 defense in yards allowed, and they are number 4 in the country, tied with South Carolina in sacks. I mean, they are getting after the quarterback. They're doing all the things that good teams do, playing good complementary football. Man, I don't know. Watch out for this team. I can't wait to watch this matchup to get a better sense of what this football team is all about.
Yeah, Kirk Cignetti, definitely in the running for Coach of the Year. All right, let's finish things up. Saturday Night Football, 11th ranked Alabama at 15th ranked LSU. This is a true knockout game. Loser goes home, 7:30 p.m. on ABC. Alabama, a 3-point road favorite. The total 58.5. I cannot believe LSU, a home underdog at night.
Yeah, this is playoff football, like you alluded to. Who needs this win more, Kalen DeBoer or Brian Kelly?
I think it's DeBoer.
You think DeBoer needs it more?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Because if he loses this game, any favor that
bring out the pitchforks.
Yes, dude. Yes.
I think Alabama wins this football game because I feel like they need it more. They just feel more accomplished. Like, hey, whoa, what are we doing? We got to tighten up, as the boys say, and they're going to get right and put a better product out there. Because they're 100% capable. They got the talent. The defense has been playing a lot better.
Bama.
Yes, Bama. Yes, Bama defense has been playing a lot better. But just, I don't know, how well does Garrett Nussmeier play? He's going to be throwing the ball a lot.
Yeah, he is.
So we'll see, man. Carson shredded the Alabama defense in the second half. Can Garrett do the same thing?
How can you trust Alabama at this point? The Tide have lost 2 straight up and against the spread on the road. I believe the last time they lost 3 straight away games might be like 2000. I need to double check that. Crazy. I mean, this has not happened in the annals of Alabama football in quite some time. So when you talk about does Kalen DeBoer need to win in the biggest terms possible, he absolutely has to win this football game. Bring out the pitchforks. You are exactly right. It's going to be an ugly, ugly scene if that's the case. You have to go back to 2000, as I said, for their last 3-game straight up and against the spread road losing streak. At home, since 2020, LSU 6-2-1 against the spread as home underdogs. We all know Death Valley is going to be an absolutely electric atmosphere. Yes, both teams are coming off a bye, and both teams are coming off a loss, which is crazy to think in this series. Brian Kelly, in his career, Jake, 16-2 straight up off extended rest. LSU off a bye. Even going back to his Central Michigan days, the dude wins after he has extended rest. This could be a trap. This is going to be a very trendy dog. LSU's at home. They're getting a field goal. I just think Kyron Lacey, Nussmeier, they're going to be able to throw the ball. They'll scheme ways up to chuck it deep. I think LSU wins the game. Give me the LSU Tigers +3.
Wow. I like it.
That's it, brother.
We'll see.
That is it. Going to be a great weekend of college football, no doubt about it. We, of course, will be able to have fun with you again next Monday, recapping everything that happened on week 11. Follow us on social media at Punt and Pass, at Drew Butler, at Fromm Jake. And, of course, download the Prize Picks app. Yeah, download that Prize Picks app. This episode of Punt and Pass presented to you by Prize Picks. Use the promo code PUNT. When you play your first $5 entry, you get $50 instantly, win or lose. It's the best. PrizePicks.com. Download the Prize Picks app. We love Prize Picks. Tell a family member. Tell a friend. Jake Fromm, anything on the way out, my man?
Man, I got nothing for you. I think we said it all. Going to be a
said
great
it all,
games.
Dude.
Man,
said it all. I give you an A-. That was really solid.
Thanks. I'll take it. It's a solid performance.
Podcast. Spencer, you get an A+. Way to be.
That's right, Spence.
On target there, my man. Okay, everybody. Have an awesome weekend. Enjoy the games, and we will talk to you on Monday. See ya.
We out.